All right, I'm here, and I am back with more screwdrivers. And in this stream, we're going to continue our meta builds. I might work on some more aircraft. There have been several workshop creations that I have been viewing that are very, very interesting that I want to check out as well. Just beyond the carbon 1B dragster, which is iconic at this point. So we built the flat top alpha meta last stream, and it was brought up that it looks like the Batmobile. Someone did actually make a Batmobile, very, very good Batmobile, and I may very well check that out a little bit later. So I may try refining this build. I'm definitely gonna use it. We're still 29th place on that speed trap camera. That's honestly surprising. I strongly suspected that once the carbon 1B dragster was revealed and the servo motor was revealed, that I would definitely drop below 100th. But yeah, as far as the Mud Bowl contest goes, we are still not even in like the top 20. And as far as I can tell, the Mud Bowl contest, being the first race you do in the game, it is one of the most meta races in the game. It also doesn't take very long to load, which is nice. So the cones, as far as I recall, will break your wheels off. Yeah. So I don't want to say that they increase damage or like lowered HP. I think it's the like motorcycle suspension or maybe my driving. But when it comes to this track in particular, like hitting any of the cones does have a chance to break off our wheels. So I'm gonna play it as conventionally as possible. Our last PB on this race was actually made with this vehicle. This vehicle is probably one of the best meta builds that I've made in the game. Now, we did make the Dirtmaster Pro in the past, and it makes me wonder if we can refine that even more using the motorcycle suspension. But the problem is, Trust, welcome back. The problem is this build it's at the point where in order to get like a really high top 50 on the Mud Bowl, like you need something that's built specifically to be able to do this. I don't know. So when I raced this last time, I kind of cut through these. I think, well, depending, this thing handles so differently. It's crazy. See, we're losing time where the alpha meta succeeds. but we gained time in regards to cutting the track there. I feel like there's something to that because I just ran into the, yeah, this thing lacks the ability to turn. This thing is four-wheel drive, mind you. As far as the limitations with the suspension go in the game, the best turn radius that I've been able to achieve has been with the motorcycle suspension. The suspension motorcycle. So as far as I can tell in the game, if we're going like full meta, every single one of these suspensions has a turn radius tied to it, like a subliminal turn radius. And what I've found is that the suspension motorcycle has the best turn radius. So it obviously it's always a combination of where your center of mass is, the weight of your vehicle, your horsepower, and so on and so forth. But that's why I really focused on building using the motorcycle suspension. Because I really believe, yeah, so those barrels, we get no leeway. Every time I hit those barrels, my wheels pop off. Have you tried a gyroscope? The gyroscope is an interesting point of discussion that I read about in the Discord earlier. There are people who want the devs to add a gyroscope, and there are many people who don't want that as well. As for building a gyroscope in this game, there is seemingly you can use rotating weights with electric motors, as far as I can tell. Yeah, we need to cut that there. But beyond that, people want the devs to just add a gyroscope, and it is a controversial. Nice. We just broke PB at the Mud Bowl. It is a controversial discussion. Nice. Now we are top 40 in S class, top 50. So it's still amazing to me to think about. But we can't see the top leaderboard times. We can see 47 here, 47 here. That's 23rd. So at this point, like, to jump 9 places, it's only 1.4, 1.5 second difference. So it's definitely condensing. This UI they need to fix. This broke in the last update. So previously you were able to see the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The choice to put a slider here is not a good choice in terms of UI design. Like, just put a scroll wheel right here, right? Like, just let me click and then drag all the way up or down. That's my take on that. I use it mostly in my builds. So how you're talking about, so in the game, as far as a gyroscope goes, we kind of built that a little bit with the Mayfly. But as far as I can tell, there is no gyroscope in the game, right? And by gyroscope, I mean, like, when I press Q and E, I can rotate because I have a motor that is rotating that weight in the center. This thing is always so satisfying to fly. Just like hopping in it, just like always so satisfying. So I'm not sure what you mean in terms of gyroscope. Okay, rotating weights. Yeah. As far as adapting the system we have in this thing to be in a vehicle, like a ground vehicle, that would be interesting. How exactly it would work, because when so here's the thing. When I think of a gyroscope, I don't think of ground vehicles, right? Like, I don't think of wheeled, like, your average car throughout history has never had a gyroscope in it, right? Like, that's why I'm thinking about that and wondering, like, what? Now, an airplane or a, like, quadcopter could benefit from something like that, quite possibly. Because it's basically a reaction wheel that operates in any direction to counter its motion. Yeah, we already got that flag. So as far as making something like that, like adding this setup to a wheeled vehicle, I don't know, like, how much would that actually help? The thing about this game is there is a way to create instantaneous acceleration using the downforce and, for instance, a rotating weight. It doesn't make sense on a ground vehicle, but the game don't care. Yeah, that is indeed the case. So as for making a gyroscope in a car, that's gonna be difficult. Yeah, we're 600th place in these. Definitely gonna try to increase our PBs at least. Oh, this is this is the downhill. So the reason why a lot of these races we have like lower scores is because when we do them, our car falls apart. So it's a combination of speed and making sure your vehicle doesn't fall apart. Like that. We did run into the tree though. That could have been avoided. And that was the finish. We just got PB on this. Yeah, we're still 200th place. That is unacceptable. As far as surviving this goes, I think, so as far as I understand damage in this game, as long as our wheels don't break off, we're good. I think that's pretty much how it goes. Like all of those pieces flying off, we don't need those. We just need our wheels. That's it. Oh, that last jump right into the tree. Still beat our PB. There is a way to do this where we don't run into that tree and break our vehicle at the end. That's definitely a like meta build thing that needs to be noted. Like if you, yeah, we went too fast. You can lose pretty much everything on your vehicle except for the wheels in a race. And you'll be fine. So that jump is very, very tough. I think we can just go straight through that. Boom! Right at the end. Nice. We just jumped a ton of places. Yeah, now we're top 30. We went from top 200 to top 30 with that run. I think getting top 30 PB is a good goal. I honestly think that that's a reasonable goal. As far as like getting first place on most of these races, good luck. Like you're gonna have to make something that's particularly designed that exploits the absolute maximum out of the structure of the race. Like, I wish they added one feature I want to see. Oh, Ligma, welcome back. One feature I want to see is they should let you see what vehicles were used to get these PBs. And I guarantee you it would be a beautiful display. But the problem is, yeah, I mean, at that point, like, people would just start using or cloning the vehicle that cloning the vehicle that got #1 place. This race in particular, you can definitely meta. Yeah. I don't know, as far as the uphill acceleration race goes. If I were to take the Dragonfly and try this, I think that's how people are getting absurd times. Also, the fact that E-Class is faster than S-Class. Yes. So our vehicle fell backwards while we were waiting. I think the strategy is going to be something like that, right? Haha! Now we're in the top 80. So what you just saw me do is pretty much like what you just saw me do is clearly the process for getting very fast times. That's why I'm so happy I built the Dragonfly and the Mayfly. Like, getting into aircraft in this game is definitely the end game. Because if you want to get insane times, like if your goal is to get top 10 on the leaderboards, you need aircraft. Like you need to be able to exploit everything about the downforce mechanism in this game. Did we... Oh, we're only like 3,000th on this race. I really do want to try to do a full race with the quadcopter. The only problem is I can't use my controller with the quadcopter because I can't remap my controls. This is a royal race. I think as long as we don't break our wheels, like, we should get a PB here. We didn't really... We tried to get gold last time, but that was about it. That low speed turning that we're getting, primarily the motorcycle suspension. Oh, that was the finish? It was A to B, okay. GG's. Nice. Yeah, top 60 seems to be a trend. If you want to get beyond like top 50 in pretty much any of these races at this point, top 50 is going to be very difficult. You can remap your controller with Steam. Interesting. I'll look into that in the future, but that is being able to remap my controller. As for like, I appreciate you letting me know. As for fine-tuned control over the aircraft that we built. Oh, we're 1,000th in this long jump. You know what that means? You know, we all know what that means. Seeing my character just fly by at the top of the screen is like, it's... That's fantastic. Can we touch the water? Oh, we went underwater. The power curve in the bottom right is jankin'. Why is this a time? That makes no sense. How do we get first place on this? And how did we only get 13 versus 12? Like... What? Long jumps are a joke? Yeah, pretty much. As far as, like, making aircraft goes, if you just figure out how to use aircraft very basically, you can get very long times. I think we're gonna have to land in the ocean. Yeah. Let's see if that gets us higher on the list for whatever reason. Yeah. So yes, now we're top 100. It has to be, so it has to be like the longest distance from the point of the ramp in the map. So hold on, if I, oh, we got turned around. Let me restart. if I go over the ramp and then turn around, what happens? Does it go back up though? Yeah, it does. It does go back up. All right, so the longest distance away from that is probably going to be somewhere over here, right? That's pretty hilarious. But yeah, the long jumps are pretty much like, yeah, get in an aircraft, you'll get top 100. Until everyone else figures out aircraft. What? What? We got second place. Like, why do we get second and not first? That makes no sense. That's great. I like that. I do like that. As far as the acceleration contest goes, there is another like weird exploit for it. But I don't know how to actually do it. We could try the rapid rally again. I really should. Let's try rapid rally with the Mayfly, and I'm just gonna really try hard. I'll give it one try, maybe 2 tries. But I do not want to fail and flounder flying this quadcopter in a race. Because there are elements to it that make it very, very difficult to fly. Like making that turn. The thing is, if you get an aircraft that's highly maneuverable and you figure out how to actually hit all of the checkpoints in a race, and you can head start too. That's like cheating, basically, flat out. Yeah, midair control is not. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So a big thing about being able to control this thing is being able to modulate the throttle without stopping. But because there's 100% acceleration and 100% throttle, 0% throttle, it makes it much more difficult to actually like slow down and turn rapidly. Now you can do it, but you can't do it in a very fine-tuned, controlled way. And there is throttle in this game. But that goes back to being able to map controls. Because it maps my right analog stick on the controller to the directional turning, and I can't do that. I can't. Regardless, I think that the Alpha Meta, the flat top Alpha Meta Mark V may be able to help us with our PV here. I do like this race. This rally race is actually kind of fun. I did post in the Discord, by the way, in the ideas section, which is kind of like the suggestions for them to allow for an option, add the option to turn off traction control, because I can feel it constantly. Like coming from a game like BeamNG, I'm being limited. I know that I'm being limited in my ability to spin the wheels out. Based on the amount of acceleration we have, we absolutely should be able to spin this thing out as much as we want. There is that subliminal limitation constantly. And I assume it's for, you know, ease of use, right? Like, they don't want... That's crazy that our wheel didn't break off there. That was crazy. So it's clear that they keep traction control on by default. Nice. Top 30 at Rapid Rally. They keep traction control on by default because it makes it easier for any type of maneuvering or driving. It's pretty straightforward, right? If you've ever driven a car in, say, BeamNG with traction control off with a high horsepower, like the Bolide, for instance, you know what it feels like, and it's very difficult to control. So it makes sense that they have that mechanism in the game. But when you're dealing with like a rally car, and I've done a lot of rally in BeamNG, you can check my past live streams for evidence of that. So I do think I know a little bit about that. In this regard, they should let players turn that mechanism off. If I want to get full torque, full horsepower from my engine, let me get it. Let me get it. But I'm telling you, players right now in this game are adding more engines thinking, oh, I don't have that horsepower. I can't get that maneuverability that I want. Like, as far as I can tell, when it comes to like 220 horsepower, like, you're good. You're good. If you build it right, you're good. I think like the F1 Master we got 331 out of, but like you don't need that. I'd love to look up exactly, and I'm not gonna use like real life comparisons. I'm strictly, yeah, and this vehicle demonstrates, oh my, that this is why I never use the street suspension anymore, dude. This is why. This is why. Like, look at that clutch time, dude. It's like he's like thinking about shifting it and just doesn't. Yeah, that turn radius. Yeah, that F1 Master is jank compared to this thing. Like, the handling on that thing is jank. You can just see the turn radius on this, right? Like, it's very clear that we are turning much faster in almost every regard. Every speed, high speed, low speed, doesn't matter. Motorcycle suspension meta for the win. As for how people are making like really, really small cars and all that, that's a different story. Because if you make your wheelbase ridiculously short in this game, you can get ridiculous turn radius for whatever reason. But I just really like the motorcycle suspension. Without being able to fine-tune the suspension in the game, this is by far the best feeling suspension in the game. And like the fact that you can see it shift, like you see the vehicle's weight shift when I turn. Is there a chest in there? Oh no, I think we already got this one, right? Yeah, I'm only 95% complete on the career mode. I don't know what colors we don't have because the map shows us all of the colors we've already obtained. So as for people who have gotten 100% on all the colors, they probably had to follow some type of map incrementally, going through 1 point all the way through all of them until they've guaranteed that they've checked all of them. Neri, welcome. What's your PB on the Secret Queens? My PB on the Secret Queens is bad because I think it's a very long race. We can give it a try again. We are just outside of the top 100. And please correct me if I'm misspelling or mispronouncing your name. I do apologize with my pronunciations. I do have a thick American accent. Ooh, the load time on this. They never fixed that, did they? That was something I was hoping they would work on. There's some jank. Like, there's no reason for the races to take this long to load. There's some, like, core jank there that it's getting hung up on. But there is a lot of room for error on this race. I do remember it. You can cut a lot of corners. Like, I think this whole corner you can pretty much cut. Yeah. As long as you don't hit that jump and go flying off. This area always breaks my wheels if I don't use the motorcycle suspension. I don't know if they fixed that, but I've had that happen many a time there. It doesn't feel great. And I think there are 2 laps as well. So not only is this a long race to begin with, yeah, that turn is one of the hardest to time for sure. I'm gonna do the full race. But there's no way we're gonna get anywhere in the top 100 unless we know the track. That's why I'm continuing. We're still in the green on our PB, even after breaking our vehicle. This track would benefit from a vehicle that had a higher top speed as well, because there are those straights. Like, every second I'm hitting my top speed, I'm like, yeah, I'm losing time. But it's hard though, because you get a higher top speed, you mess with the gear ratios, then you get less acceleration on the low end, you know? So the sacrifice of the top speed seems fair if what you're trying to do is get maximum handling on the low end. Because rarely do you actually go above like 250 kilometers an hour. That is the reality. We did break our car earlier. We're remembering the track now. That's a tight turn. Deceivingly tight turn there. Yeah, our brake time is actually amazing. We just need to time that properly. Yeah, I'm sure people have meta this race, like, quite a bit, given the fact that it's, like, the only race in the game that is primarily, or if only, a proper length, and it's all street. It's all street. I'm using dirt tires. I still consider the Mud Bowl to be the true though, given the fact that it is the first race in the game. If we are going for strict meta, "13 seconds and we broke our vehicle." Interesting. Please let me click this. Okay, nice. Nice, top 50. Even though we broke our vehicle, we got top 50. So it definitely seems like below at least the separation of all the times, as far as that goes, it looks like it starts to condense at 347. Like those at the top, 42nd place, 41st, 40th, are all within like 0.2 of a second of one another. And then before that, you have 348 where there's a 0.8 second jump. So you can jump 3 places just by getting an extra 0.2 seconds. You got a 308-minute time? Interesting. I'm thinking, as far as this track goes, being 90+% street, I'm wondering if putting street tires on this would be better, or even just replacing them with big rubber tires, because these weigh less, right? And we put the dirt tires on this because for some reason, in terms of the design, if you just want to swap the wheels out, there's something weird between the race wheel small and the dirt wheel small, where these don't have exactly the same like hitbox, even though their radius and width. Well, no, I am incorrect. The radius of the dirt wheel small is 2 centimeters wider. And it is 5 centimeters. It is 5 centimeters wider in terms of the width. It is 2 centimeters wider in terms of the radius. Yes. I feel like that wasn't always the case. I may be like gaslighting myself. I don't know. But yes, that's why we put the dirt wheel small, because it has a higher radius, so it's easy to swap into racing wheel small with this design. I will be right back. I'll try that again. All right, I'm back. Use small dirt suspension, small racing tires. Ooh, interesting. Small dirt suspension with racing tires. So you're talking suspension dirt small with the racing wheel small. I always found that the suspension small, like, so in terms of my first meta build, it was the Streetmaster Pro Mark 1, which we then very slightly modified into the Streetmaster Pro Mark 2. I found that the turn radius with this was like some of the highest turn radius we could possibly get. It causes this like weird wiggle though. Like there's this weird like oscillation wiggle that happens. Like it's not stiff enough to like counteract itself. And if you get good at using this thing, like you can get some good times. But again, when I built the Abomination, it became very clear to me that the motorcycle suspension is the god tier meta suspension, because you can get absurd turn radius with this thing. But then it's just a matter of like, you know, you're overturning, you're sliding out, how much downforce, how much traction do you have, right? And like this thing feels good. It looks like a freaking monstrosity, but it actually feels pretty good. And then yes, this is the flat top meta, alpha meta Mark 5. With the small rubber tires, it's going to be interesting. We were using the dirt tires, but we did build it in such a way that you can swap between the large rubber tire, the small dirt wheel, and the small street wheel, without needing to modify the design at all, which is ideal. When you're swapping wheels out on a build, you don't want to have to like move a wing or anything like that. We can try this again. As far as the Secret Queen race goes, map knowledge is going to be... track knowledge is going to be a huge part. Yeah, I believe that's legit. You could if you really went hard on this race, you could probably squeeze out below 3 minutes. But if I recall, like with the leaderboards, we can't check after the recent update. The top like 3 or 4 times that I saw on this were unbelievable. Like 30 seconds. Like I'm talking like someone got 30 seconds on this race. That's ridiculous. I don't believe that you can legitimately get 30 seconds on this race. Like, I just don't believe it. Now, call me like a hater. Call me like, oh, you're not good, get good. Like, no, 30 seconds on this race. Like, I'm not even done with my first, like halfway done with my first lap. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like one of the top times. Yeah, that right there is pretty much why I use the dirt wheels, or at least the race wheels. I might switch to the race wheels. That part of that curve on this track has a bump that will break your vehicle into pieces instantly, depending on how fast you go over it. And it's on the left side of that curve. Yeah, I believe that time. That's a very reasonable time. And anyone contesting that doesn't understand this race. Like you can shave 50. I could see myself shaving 50 seconds off if I just went absolutely ham on this. But I will not believe 30 seconds. There's no way that I'm gonna believe sub 1 minute. There's no way. There's just no way. Someone used some type of like weird exploit to either like teleport or like some very core game bug. I don't know. That's just what they did. I may turn. I don't mind the game music, but I may turn it off again. See, that's what I mean by the traction control. There's like this traction control baked into the system, and it's like, well, I didn't really want my wheels to completely stop there. Like, I'm trying to accelerate. A little bit of traction loss is not necessarily a terrible thing. And if you've ever watched like a real GT3 race with like very professional drivers, you'll know what I'm talking about. That we can cut. I don't know. We might have to try the race wheel small. I think I can just crank through this. Nope, nope, you cannot. You cannot crank through that. That is why I slow down before the bridge. Two things. Music off. And we need to go back to using... I'm going to try racing wheels rather than the rubber tires. Because that did not happen last time. Race wheels small. I feel that, bro. Yeah. Yeah. There are 2 points in this track where that can and will happen, depending on how fast you go through the area. Like, if your suspension compresses beyond a certain point, yeah. That's also why I'm using the motorcycle suspension. As far as the first like meta build I made, the Street Master Pro, that thing hugs the ground when you're driving it. So much so that if you hit any type of bump like that, it will just go flying into the air. Or it'll just break. Oh, interesting. Weird. This feels so different now. This feels so different. I like the dirt wheels more, I think. If we don't break our car, we could probably shave off like a second or two. But aside from that, it's gonna come down to me remembering the turns and the map. We shaved off, that's where we crashed the car last time. So looking like potentially 5 seconds even. But I wonder, so this game is early access, and very reasonably so, and I respect labeling it as early access. I do wonder if once the game is in a more polished state, if I think I would advise, it would be advisable to reset all of the leaderboards. If I'm being blatantly obvious, we have to go very carefully through there. Once they fix a lot of the, oh my, we almost just flipped. Once they fix a lot of the exploits in the game, they may want to consider doing that. Yeah, we lost a lot of time there because I slowed down at the bridge because we flew into the air last time. The time we gained the most, yeah, we just broke that that turn right there is the second spot that I'm talking about. Between the bridge spot and that spot, if you're going in the wrong at the wrong speed in the wrong spot on the road, your car will break apart. But I think most people would agree that, yeah, once the game is in a more finished state, they absolutely should consider resetting the leaderboards. Because I'm certain that the developers are smart enough to know about all of the current exploits and bugs in the game. Like, they know how people are getting those insane times. No doubt. But it doesn't necessarily feel right. No! Right at the end. Right at the end. That spot of the bridge sketches me out. So much so that I whiffed right at the end. You can't go on the left side of the bridge because your car will fly into the air. And obviously it's a narrow point in the track. If you go too far to the right, you fly into the air because you hit the wall. But as far as like doing races in this game, this is actually a good track. I think this is one of the longest tracks in the game. The thing they need to work on is the loading time. $120 is the right speed? Yeah. That spot sketches me out. I whiffed. I straight up turned the stick to the right, thinking in the back of my mind, oh, I don't want to go to the left because the last time I did that, my car flipped into the air. Right? We were green on our PB though. We were going to get PB right up until the end. We need to shave that time off where we crashed last time. That's the primary goal. We almost just hit the wall there. Almost. This spot right here, very dangerous. Very dangerous. That turn is deceivingly long. Like, you just keep turning. It's a full U-turn. Yeah, we lost it. That's exactly where we lose it. That's the hardest turn in the race. Between the two bugged out spots that make your car fly into the air and brake, and that turn, like, that's the main difficulty of this track. Knowing your brake time there is, when you're going that fast, when it comes to like any type of professional racing, like F1, GT3, if you've ever watched like iRacing streams, like sim racing, what you'll notice is that the best drivers know their brake times like it's second nature on the track. They know exactly when they need to start braking given a turn, how they need to start brake. I lost traction. This run is fried. Back. Why does B not work in that screen? When you click B when you're in the settings, it brings you back, but then when I'm in that menu and I click B, it just makes me look backwards while I'm still looking at that screen. Yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble. There are two spots on this track that are a little bit of a gamble. Mateus, welcome back. We are doing the secret queen race using our alpha meta flat top Mark V meta build, trying to successfully complete it without sliding out or crashing, which is difficult in the sense that there are 2 points on this map that will launch your car into the air if you hit it too hard. If you hit them too hard. And there's one very strong U-turn. Yeah, right there. Like, why did our car pop into the air? Why? The game was just like, yeah, your car is gonna jump into the air. That we messed up. I'll give it that. We messed that turn up. Yeah, brake time is always earlier on this than we suspect. The added difficulty of there being 2 laps is absolutely a thing. But this is like a proper length track. As for like fixing those 2 locations, I don't know. I wonder if the devs know about it. Yeah, this spot right here, we have to be careful about. We have to go on the right side. If we go on the left side of that bridge, our car will fly into the air. It has happened several times in the past. I assume at this point the devs know that these 2 points on the map cause issues. That point right there we got through clean. We did not experience the jank, thankfully. Oh, I started braking early and then I broke late. The brake time on that is that's the hardest turn in the game, in the track. Maybe in the game. Serpentin is also a very good track. But Serpentin has a full dirt section that you need to go over. And depending on your like style or what you're going for, it does add quite a bit of complexity if you need to build for like a combination of dirt and street. So Oh, we got through it. We got through it. 10 seconds off of our PB. We got 339. Top 30 on the Secret Queen. My hands are a little bit sweaty. I'm gonna be honest, like, if you want to get into the top 30 of the Secret Queen, like, you're gonna have to get a little bit sweaty. Like, my palms are a little bit sweaty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna fully admit that live on stream. What class are other people on? So there is, the way the classes work is interesting. Like, I noticed that I'm pretty sure, if I had to guess, from a programmatic standpoint, every item, every thing that you use to build your vehicle has a value tied to it. And something I noticed, this is speculation, but this is what I suspect. So this is kind of like proving my point while I say it rather than just speculating. This is an S plus vehicle right now. The J Crown flat top Alpha Meta Mark V is S plus. Now, if I take off all of these wings, it's still an S plus. So maybe not. Maybe not. There was a point before where it was going from like S to S plus. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what classifies a vehicle as like S versus S plus. I was gonna assume that programmatically it had something to do with each item. Yeah, E-class. As far as like building an E-class goes, I am tempted to try, but I will say flat out, building a vehicle to be in a specific class sounds like a nightmare because there is no quantifiable metric that is displayed in the game that determines like, oh, you're just about to be an S class. You don't want to add that. You might not want to do that because it'll bump your level into S plus class or whatever, you know? It's like you just kind of guess. Like you add something and remove something. It's like, oh, I'm C class, now I'm E class, like, yeah. I do want to make like a hardcore meta build, but I've noticed people making like extremely compact vehicles. That is becoming a meta very quickly. Like there is going to be the smallest vehicle that anyone's ever made. Functional vehicle. Functional four-wheeled vehicle. I don't know what the distance between... So someone found out that you can clip both of these wheels into one another. No, even that... It might even be a 3. Is it a 3? Or did they use something else? No, it can't be a 3. Oh, it is a 3. Yeah, someone asked last stream, like, can you make an extremely small vehicle? And yes, I can, but is it going to be the smallest? Strong doubt. Proof of concept is effectively doing something like just something functional like this, right? It just flipped backwards. It just instantly flipped backwards because all of the weight is in the back. Look at how the suspension is. What? That is so janky. But I kind of like it. How do we even... I want to check one more thing before I... go any further with that. I don't think you can do this. Oh... Okay. Okay. So you can do this. Yeah. How to actually put a motor on this thing, that is the... Yeah, just like that, right? So there's a reason why I'm doing this. There is a hidden meta. Look at how it's just rocking back and forth. What? There is a hidden meta in the game. The hidden meta is using an extremely small vehicle. Oh, you can't... So, wait, hold on. Okay. The racing wheel small has a radius of 72 centimeters. The big rubber tire has a radius of 73 centimeters. So, yes, you cannot use the big rubber tire, but you can use the race wheel small. And I'm sure you could use the thin rubber tire if you wanted, right? There is some secret meta in the game that I'm exploring right now, involving building a very, very small car. Obviously, this thing is like not cutting it, but proof of concept. Yeah, there are a lot of areas in the game. Like, if you look at this turn right here, look at how bumpy this is. Like, this is not smooth at all. In terms of, like... In terms of the polygons in the game, like, this right here would blow someone's freaking wheels off if they went over it fast enough. The way, look at the way it like rocks back and forth. That's hilarious. Looks like the roads in my country all bad as fuck. Yeah, every turn has these like giant. Like if we're really looking at the polygons in the game, like the roads are not smooth in like many areas. Like you saw how the wheels jumped right there? That is why vehicles go flying into the air. Like that jump right there. Yeah. As for meta building the smallest car we can possibly build, I don't think you can get much smaller than this. Like maybe there's a way to inlay the wheels together, but yes, for whoever asked about that last stream, you can make a very, very compact vehicle. And yes, as you can imagine, there are people who are meta building this to such an extent that they have made extremely compact vehicles. No, it does not seem like you can do that. Like if I wanted to do that and then put another suspension right here, you can't. Even though that's flat right here, this block right here is filled. You can't actually put anything there. Even though it's flat right here, I can't place anything right here. I'm almost certain I wouldn't be able to place. Yeah, see, doesn't like that. Bro, you live in Europe and complaining about roads? Yeah, I mean, in the US, like, oh man. Depending on where you're at in the United States, like, some of the roads are not, they're not even roads. Like, you're just basically going through a field of potholes. Like, giant cracks and potholes. Now, obviously, like, it depends on where you are, right? You can't just generalize an entire country. Yeah, but then you wouldn't even be able to fit an engine in it, right? So I think yeah, we can't use the big rubber tire. We can it's either racing wheels small or a thin rubber tire. And we did determine that we can't overlay these by staggering them out by one, because this block right here is occupied. Eastern Europe is much different than Western roads. Yeah, I mean, Europe is a big area. Yeah. I think top 3 guy on Wild Curves Race did similar to that meta by having very short wheelbase. Yes. Yes. That is why I'm entertaining this. It may seem like, what the F is this guy doing? Going into several things in this game, I am always pleasantly surprised by just how deep the meta goes. like several things by, I mean like aircraft, Carbon 1B dragster, the exploit using the servo with all of the planetary gears. Like this is another meta that is actually how people are getting insane PBs. But this thing is bare bones. Like, I don't know if you can actually get something smaller than this. I don't know. I love how it wiggles. Like, look at the... It's like a seesaw. And then, so... as far as, like... As far as this suspension goes... The suspension's small. Like, that is the smallest suspension in the game. You're not gonna get anything smaller or lighter than that. But yes, at which point it becomes like, can we even put downforce on this thing? And I don't think we can bare bones style. We could do this. But then, so as far as like actually having different gear ratios goes, when you build a transmission and you're using these gear shifts, that just immediately is going to require a specific amount of space in order to translate that force. We're about to get top one with that little cart. Oh my, the handling of this thing is so weird. It doesn't make any sense. Look at this turn radius. Like, what? Little RC car? Yeah. The thing that's interesting to me about it is the turn radius. So like more narrow wheelbase or shorter wheelbase, should I say? Like the two wheels on either side are closer to one another, and that's allowing us to turn like drastically. Yeah, I don't know how far I want to get into this meta, but it's very clear, like, turning like this, there's definitely something to that. As to where to go with that and how to, like, scale this up, no idea. No idea. But yes, there are people who are working on making multi-gear, extremely compact vehicles. And that is my initial attempt. Try to build a short, wide vehicle. Just make it extremely wide. So at that point, like, what would, yeah, the turn radius, you would be like rotating around one wheel, one side of the vehicle every time you turn. Making any car four-wheel steerable wouldn't be better. Yeah, so it's always a balance. Yeah. It's always a balance. You can make cars four-wheel steerable. Like, we can do that. But the way the game handles it, and I mean in real life, you're, depending on your downforce and how hard you turn, you're gonna be able to turn better. Like, if the wheels are turning in opposite directions, you're gonna be able to turn better. Right? Like, no doubt. That's not a stupid question. But it brings up the balance, right? How much downforce do you have? How much traction do you have? And how much controllability over the handling do you have? Like, if I turn, I can turn, but I immediately slide out and then I lose all of my momentum. Right? So, like, if you've ever seen a forklift, like any type of low-speed construction vehicle, especially like four-wheel, they'll have their rear wheels which turn rather than their front wheels, because that provides a lot of low-speed turn radius. Like, you can turn a lot better if the front wheels and the rear wheels turn at low speeds. But you will never see a race car or like an F1 car with rear wheels that turn, because they would just immediately slide out. That is the balance. That is ultimately the balance. Yeah, one other thing while I'm thinking about it that I wanted to check out. I do want to check out some workshop vehicles. The workshop vehicles for this game, the stuff that people have been working on, it has gotten amazing. Even right off the bat, when this game first came out, it was pretty crazy. But like, we're talking, someone made a fighter jet, someone made a tank. People have been making entire dump trucks with hitches. And I am gonna be trying a truck with a trailer. Because it's like, to build one of these things, it seems like it would take a long, long time. Let me see. There's one by Lucas Heideber, which I will subscribe to. This is what I'm talking about. Want to see my drift car? Sure. If it's on the workshop, I will subscribe and then check it out. I have checked out several other workshop items, like the carbon 1B dragster. When I first saw this thing, it just like clicked with me immediately. Like, there was this like formulation in my mind, this like cloud about how are people going over 1,000 kilometers an hour. And once I learned about the quadcopter and the helicopter, it just like, it clicked with me. Yeah. All right, let's try this trailer truck. It's gonna be interesting. This may like lag the game a lot. I don't know. Oh my. That is crazy. So this thing has a full hitched trailer. That is crazy. That is amazing. This is on the workshop. It's one of like the top popular things. I admittedly never thought that I would see something like this implemented in the game, but it's actually crazy that someone built. There is another one. There are a couple. What happens if we full accelerate? This is full acceleration now. Oh! Rip. Yeah, that's crazy. What happens if I crank it? Oh, it gets stuck. We're gonna have to look at this thing in the... We're not gonna do a race in this thing. I think the acceleration of this is hilarious. Because in no way does a real truck like this... Oh! Need to hit such a high RPM. It's kind of goofy having like an 18-wheeler that has like a motorcycle sounding engine in it. Oh, it's top heavy. Do secret queen race with it? That would take quite some time. Like actually racing this thing, like good luck. This is what's gonna immediately happen. This thing is crazy though. Yeah, to be able to actually see it. I don't know why it's unnamed. And then when I duplicate it, it creates a... That's a bug with the workshop. If you click add car to your garage, it works. You have to be careful with this system though, because you could wipe whatever you were working on. It has downforce inside of the... Dude, this is crazy. Like someone spent a long time working on this thing. Look at all of the weights in the back. And that makes sense. Like, yeah, none of the rear wheels have any type of force on them. It's just the trailer hitch. As for, I think this does actually have an unhitching mechanism. This is the gear system. Which, as far as I can tell, what? Is this another... Hold on, I'm so trying to figure out what... Oh, there's another one down below. Okay. It says this is a 12-speed. Yeah, that's 3 layers. But as far as I can tell, this middle shaft... Well, this doesn't connect here. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's like a triple layer transmission. Yeah, it would take a long time to do the secret queen race with this. But yes, all of the power, I mean it's pretty clear all of the power from the engines is going into this. This is where the power is coming through into this shifter here, which is then being translated into this, which is then being translated up into this third one, which also has a, this is a gear shift 3. It's very, very interesting. I haven't really taken a look at a transmission like quite like this. But yeah, I think so. When I drove it, there is another one that we can check out too. Yeah, this is truck with trailer, Lucas Heideber. There's another one, mid-lift truck with dump trailer, by Astral Heretic. So the pistons in the game are very like, so I joke about aircrafts being the end game. Now that this game has been out for, let's check how long. This game has been out for, it came out on June 20th. So that's a solid, that's coming up on 3 weeks, right? Like over 2 weeks at this point. People are making very intricate builds that involve pistons, which I personally have not messed with. And honestly, that is like where the beginning of my limit, that's the beginning of my limit. Is like, I hit my limit when it comes to the pistons in this game. I can use the stepper motors and the servo motor, but this 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 has a hold on. Sometimes it has errors when analyzing. This has a movable dump truck trailer using a piston. So I'm very interested in seeing if we can actually get it to work. Because as far as designing something like this myself goes, there's like no way. There's no way. I'm much more interested in like making very clean meta builds. All right, it's straight. It's just not working. We'll try analyzing it one more time. We had this issue with the Carbon 1B dragster. It's a little bit, when it comes to like more complex designs, the analyzing, oh, we had this issue with the aircraft as well. One of the airplanes on the workshop. I think it has to do with like all of the downforce or something. Yeah, no, that's third try. That's a rip. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, if anyone can get this thing to work, like, let me know. The workshop overall, at least for simpler builds, has worked just fine for me personally. But yes, it seems like we're getting to a point, especially with that first airplane. The game has trouble calculating like a whole bunch of downforce and stuff with some of like the more complicated vehicles. Now, it could definitely be something bugged out with my game. But I kind of doubt it. I think it's possible that... So you can update... I can check it, actually. Let me check it. Nope, there hasn't been a change to it recently. So I don't know exactly how... I don't know exactly how people are getting that to work, but it's fine. This one works fine. And this one is actually really crazy. This is by far, like, the hitching trailer is by far something I did not think I would see in this game. And the way this whole thing works is the front cabin is pulling the entire trailer. There's no force on the rear wheels. And that's how an actual trailer, like an actual 18-wheeler, works in real life. But yeah, this seems to get capped at 5 gears. Which does make some sense given the fact that it has a gear shift 2 and a gear shift 3. As for there being a way to simplify it, I imagine there is, but it does function. As far as like the engine sounds go, it would be actually nice if you could like choose different engine sounds. The top heaviness of this is the craziest part, because as far as a real 18-wheeler goes, like toppling over an 18-wheeler, if you aren't careful, like an inexperienced driver could topple over an 18-wheeler. Like if you crank it too hard, like bam. Like that can actually happen in real life. But that thing is very, very top heavy. Like even at lower speeds, you can topple that thing over. Highly recommend trying that. That one is made by Lucas Heidelberg. It is on the workshop. Skill issue moment. I should be able to get first place. I should be able to get first place on the Secret Queen using that thing. It's just a skill issue that I can't. Now, as far as like true meta goes in terms of building something functional, using the downforce in the game. The craziest thing that I've seen has to be the Carbon 1B Dragster by White Dwarf. They have made other variations of this thing. But this gives you a good idea as to just how insane you can get if you start exploiting the downforce in the game. Like, this is a very good product of understanding the downforce in the game. So we're gonna launch it, and we may break the sound barrier. 3, 2, 1. Hold on. If we want to break the sound barrier, we gotta fly into the air. Hold on. Oh. Oh, what is happening? What is happening? But yes, this is how we got our 1400 kilometer an hour 1400 kilometer an hour PB on the straightaway here. That's ridiculous. So if you figure out a way, so what I was trying to say is, if you figure out a way to exploit that, there are mechanisms in the game to make something extremely highly maneuverable that primarily works by rotating a propeller. I got my time on the Queen race with a car like that? Yeah. Yeah, so propeller cars are a thing in this game. Propeller cars are a thing. They are a product of the downforce system. So like right now I'm driving this conventional, I'd call this a conventional vehicle. This vehicle is relying on downforce from the wings on the back of it based on our velocity, right? Like, we're moving in a direction, we're getting the downforce from the wings on the top of this vehicle, which is keeping the vehicle from sliding out and flying off into the air. But if what you do instead is you move the wings, you get a propeller, you get a downforce car. And because there's no actual system of like inertia in the game, you get instantaneous force, which is not how it works in real life. Like that's not how it works at all. So what I'm getting at is it conventional to use that force in order to try to get a PB? And when the game goes full release in the future, do we think that kind of build should be in the same category as vehicles that don't use that force? That's the question. Try out my car. I used to get top S. Sure. What is it? Is it on the workshop? If it's on the workshop, I'll subscribe. Sure. I'm interested. If you want to share that. I do want to put the dirt wheels on here. There are cars on the workshop currently. Like I use the Carbon 1B dragster as an example because it is a it is a very good example which use that method of propulsion effectively. It really is amazing. Like it makes sense that something like this would be created and that it would actually function as intended. Although it looks like an absolute abomination, it does make sense given the physics in the game. I suspect that the developers are thinking about methods moving forward to kind of like separate the what I use the term conventional, right? As far as like the term conventional goes, like what is conventional in an early access physics-based game? I don't know. But the way I use the word conventional is as to whether you're like clearly exploiting if you're rotating wings in a way that generates propulsion. Damn, we lost a lot of time on that. I really wonder. The dirt wheels definitely feel different. And honestly, I do feel like I'm getting slightly less grip overall on the street. I don't do Discord DMs. I don't have a Discord or anything. But yeah, if you want to put it on the workshop and you tell me what it's called, I'm down. Otherwise, like, I'm pretty much just focused on public workshop builds. But yeah, I don't do DMs on Discord for anything. But that's just me personally. Damn, yeah, so as far as these dirt wheels go, we're losing time on the straightaways even. Like, even on the straightaways. So, I really suspect that, yeah, the extra rotation, that's one of the, that's the second hardest turn in the race. It's called Goofy Top 3 Secret Queen's Car Lol. Goofy. Oh, interesting. Did you use an electric motor on this? We will check out your design. It does look good though. I appreciate you sharing. As far as like me doing races and stuff, like I'm not gonna like I'm very careful with how I present other people's builds because I do not want like if I'm not using something I built, I'm very, very explicit about saying like, oh, this was built by this other person. So, but yes, this is what you put on the workshop. The purpler. Oh, that's you put all the gears in uh horizontally, like along the wheelbase. And it is a rear wheel drive. How did you get this cosmetic? How did you get this skin on your beams? Where did you get this from? Is this one of the secret, like, super hard to find uh this must be one of the secret super hard to find skins, right? The colors at the Supersonic map. Oh, see, I haven't even explored that in depth. Interesting. Yeah, this one's crazy. This thing is very interesting. The way that you place the engines, uh yeah, we'll free drive it for a bit. Have you messed with the motorcycle engines at all? Ooh, the turn radius is insane. What? So this is the dirt suspension small, right? And this is rear wheel drive. How do you get this much turn radius out of the dirt suspension small? That is the question. Yeah, this is great. Great job on this. Better to use manual? Yeah, the automatic shifting in the game is the automatic shifting is slow. Like the clutch time is slow. Yeah, interesting that you used 3 engines. Very interesting. Getting that, like, look at that low speed turn radius. That's what's so... I thought the motorcycle suspension had the best turn radius. Yeah, this is clean. Good job on that. I tried 4, but it kills the handling performance. Indeed. Yeah, your center of mass is even slightly to the side, but that doesn't really matter. Even at a high speed, I didn't feel it like shifting to one side. Yeah, that's crazy. And it's just 3 gears, right? Yeah, interesting. The so these suspension like, so yes, getting that turn radius, it's especially at like low speed, right? We're talking about low speed turn radius. Like the rate at which this turns is very, very good, and it like locks into it too. Like you begin the turn and then it locks into it. The street wheels for sure have an impact on that too. But yeah, it's very interesting. I am gonna use the information you have provided me with to get that cosmetic though. That is a sick cosmetic. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. I like the purpler. The purpler 4.0. I think so. I'm happy to check out your build and I appreciate you sharing it. But I think in terms of like me doing like career races, I'm gonna stick to stuff that I've built. But I do definitely appreciate you letting me experience something you created, for sure. I haven't gone to the Supersonic map that much at all. You said it's in the far northwest. I think we did find one color before. I love how they put an H on top of the building. The developers full blown, yeah, this texture on the ground is by far one of the coolest textures. It's called Prototype. Sick. I imagine it's in between one of these buildings. And the camera being the final boss in this game makes it quite difficult to look around. Oh, is it like really, really far to the northwest? Like out in the distance even? Interesting. So I imagine there's no edge to this map. Wait, I want to hold on. Let's see if this is a purely flat map. I want to use the Carbon 1B dragster to see what we can. Dude, just the sound of this thing. Ah! 1600. 1600. How far? Wait, how far can we go? Oh, is that it? Wait, I think that's it. There's something here. Nice. Thank you, Neri, for letting me know that. The Carbon 1B dragster seemed like the perfect. Parts are like flying off at. This map is completely flat. Yeah, this thing can hit 1600 kilometers an hour on flat ground. Like that is all of the. We just keep breaking the sound barrier over and over again. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, this trailer truck is crazy too. Like, as far as being able to hitch, see this again. I don't fully understand how this is connected. I think it's just connected by this right here. Yeah. So 2 pins and then an axis. That's what allows it to rotate. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that people have been bringing up is they want to see more engines, but that's difficult because that's like core to the game, you know. I think one of the biggest things that I want to see from this game, And I think it's a reasonable suggestion. Would be being able to toggle anti-lock braking and traction control. Like being able to turn traction control on and off. I think would allow for a lot more like customizability, right? In terms of any type of rally car. So when you're doing a rally race with a four-wheel drive rally vehicle, oh, there's a career race here? Wild curves. Interesting. When you're doing a rally race with a rally vehicle, this is one of the new races. You don't want to be bound by traction control. Like, you want to be able to spin the wheels. Oh my. Oh, there go our wheels. I'm thinking that jump right there is going to be nearly impossible to do without breaking your car, so we may as well just YOLO through it. Oh my. Wild curves, I got top 2. Nice. Top 1 cheated. Ooh, how did they cheat? Dude, no idea. How, is it even possible to do this race without breaking your vehicle? I don't think so. I genuinely don't believe you can. Oh, you can go past the ramp? Okay. Yeah, so the checkpoints are very generous. If you have to go up this ramp, yeah. But then I broke my wheels. Top 1 guy also cheated in Secret Queen race. Yeah, the top time for Secret Queen is like 30 seconds, right? They messed up the leaderboards with the new update, so you can't actually see the top time. Yeah, that's gonna break my wheel every time. So we're gonna need to treat the ramp as though it's like an object in the way that we rapidly need to go around. Otherwise, our wheels are gonna break every time. So as for like cheated, that's the term I'm interested in. Like, am I gonna use any of those exploits? No, I'm not. But if one person was able to do it, I don't want to be like rude or mean, but that means that if everyone found out about it, then everyone would be able to do it. So I'm not sure like what cheating looks like and why haven't the devs changed it? Oh my. Oh, we survived! How did we survive? How in the world did I survive there? And if they cheated, then why can't the devs just like scrub their time and then patch the cheat? Oh, they're 2 laps. Brutal. Brutal. That's what I'm confused about. Like, I'm very, very careful with like claiming that someone, I use the term unconventional, unconventional means. Dude, how did we survive this last time? I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna survive it again. We did. We survived it. We lost a whole bunch of pieces, but we didn't lose our wheels. GG. Nice. We just got top 100 with that run. Go left side of ramp, not right side. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's a cool race. Definitely feels like there's one location where you jump off the giant cliff where it's extremely difficult to not break your vehicle, but somehow we did it twice. Somehow we did that without breaking our vehicle. I can share with you the video where I did wild curves if you want. If you post that, I mean, if you post that in the Screwdrivers Discord, I'll check it out. As for checking out videos on stream, I don't do that. If you land on 4 wheels, it never break. Ligma, welcome back. Is that actually the case? Is that for every? Wait, is that the case for every suspension in the game? Because we did land twice on all 4 wheels. So if I launch off of the cliff on that race, I could hypothetically survive. In your personal experience, yes? Nice. That's very interesting. As for like how the damage works in this game, it's very interesting. This is just straight oval racing. This is reminding me of iRacing. Like, if you've ever watched like real full-blown hardcore sim racing, there are people who do ovals and it's pretty crazy. Somehow we got top 30 first try. I don't know. I don't know how how did we only get top 100 on that other one and then we got top 30 on this one? That is a little bit confusing, if I'm being brutally honest. Because it doesn't feel like I did anything special on that oval race. I will give wild curves another try. This race is very... It's a little bit all over the place. Like, I don't like... Personally, I don't like the jumps. I don't like airtime. Because what that means is like, oh, you went off that ramp slightly differently. Your wheel fell off. Now you're bumped. You know? Yeah, you can go around the left side. I don't know Like, it's okay. I get it. It's like we're in the testing experimental zone of the map, or the other map. Yeah, landing that properly. So that's what this whole race is gonna come down to, as far as I can tell. Like, I hate to be brutal about certain tracks. And like, yeah, sure, I know I need to get good. But as far as like Serpentine Circuit is one of my favorites. I do like the Secret Queen race as well. Although the Secret Queen race has 2 locations where, if you're not careful, your car will fly into the air and you will lose like serious time. Yeah, we landed, our wheel didn't break. We bounced, and then when we landed again, our wheel broke. Nice. So we got 5 seconds faster. Wildcard's the most nightmare part is the dirt hill. Yes, exactly. Yes. We did shave off like 50 places. So we went from like top 100 to top 50. I think my suspicion is correct in the sense that for that race in particular, the fact that the devs decided to put a giant hill that you have to climb up and fly off of, it leaves a lot of room for like, did you land correctly? Did your wheels fall off? You know? That's fine though, that's cool. Oh, here are all of the chest locations. And they disappeared. We've already gotten all the chests. We do not have all of the... So, all of the secret colors, I think we're still missing like 2 of them. We're 9... This is it. We're 99%. %. As for finding that 1%, I do not know. I do not know. What about the King of Kinetics race? I think this has a jump in it too, right? Wait, what? This has to be bugged out, right? Yeah, this is bugged out. For some reason, it says all car classes 258, S class 219. We have 2 different scores, even though S class is a part of all car classes. Might be a book somewhere. Yes, I think there is a map. There is a map. As for figuring out which ones we don't have, that is going to be a... Yeah. I do like the double 8 race as well. Somehow we got top 20 on that. We can do the gravel road grind again. I think I do have the dirt tires on this thing. There is a map. There is a map of all the color locations and chest locations and all that. It is the question is not whether I can find it. It's as to whether I want to take the time to do that. That is the question. Yes. And as of right now, I don't. Admittedly, I do not. If other people take the time to do that, cool, that's fine, great. But I'm gonna take that 99% and I'm gonna accept it. I'm just gonna accept it right now. I forgot about this track. Somehow we're up 2 seconds though. And we did a barrel roll. This track is actually sick because it's a nice combo of flat dirt and flat road. Hitting that was totally fair. That was not bugging. That was my mistake. Stick roll though? Yeah. We almost landed it. We could probably break our previous PB on this thing if I'm careful. But yes, using manual shifting is faster. As for not being able to rebind my controls on my controller, I'm not gonna worry about using manual mode for that reason. Like, the developers need to work on allowing us to... And we died. It was a nice, slow crumble, but we did fall apart. That's the most dangerous part of this map, for sure. Overshot it. So yes, this map does have a like dangerous downhill location. And if we are to get like a really good PB, we're gonna need to save it. We're gonna need to not crumble at that location. And we immediately barrel rolled. Clipped to the ground, barrel rolled, done. GG's. We still got 4 seconds off though. That one downhill location is what makes me not extremely interested in this race. I think you can go down the right side of it, but I will try it again. You do want to try and get top 50. Did you try making a motorcycle with 2 wheels? I have not. As far as like balancing it and, you know, it's difficult given the mechanics in the game. It is difficult. Is it possible? Yes. Yeah, the biggest place we're gonna shave off time this time is on that downhill. If we're just a little bit more careful, we will survive. Yeah, going from dirt to road is difficult. It's difficult. I like it. Dirt to asphalt, and we overshot that. When you're in the air, you can't brake. K-Funky, welcome. You can time when you repair so you're facing the preferred direction. Oh, indeed. That is a good tip. Thank you. We can definitely get top 50 on this. But what it's going to come down to is that it's going to come down to that hill. That downhill. No doubt. Which, again, I have to be brutally honest, is why I don't really like tracks that have jumps. Because it's this like added, I think if we go down the right side, we might have a slightly easier time. There we go. There we go. Almost died. It's this like added randomness, and controlling the vehicle when you're going down a hill like that is completely different than actually driving the vehicle. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's added difficulty. It's just not something I personally enjoy. Like when I'm driving a car, I like my car to stay on the ground so I can turn my car. Alright, we took it slow, and then we ultimately shaved off more time. And we died. But we still have 10 seconds off of our PB, so we're okay. We did it. We got top 50. Ooh, top 30 even. Sometimes the repair time is okay if you yeet off a cliff or something with a lot of speed. Yeah, the way it like decides to roll the vehicle and then replace you, I think we got pretty lucky on that run. Like on that run you just saw when I repaired the vehicle, it repaired very quickly. Oh, we're just behind White Dwarf 1011. White Dwarf 1011 is the one who made the Carbon 1B dragster, which we saw earlier. I wonder if you just gas it down the hill and crash over the finish. Maybe. It's tough. It's a very long hill. Getting momentum going at the top of the hill, it's right after a sharp turn as well. And then the finish line, the distance of the finish line from the base of the hill is also pretty long. So just flying down the hill, again, I think it all comes down to timing your repair, going as fast as you can, kind of expecting to break your vehicle, and then timing your repair so that your vehicle is facing the direction you want to go in, and then just immediately picking it back up. That's at least what just happened in that last round. Which, honestly, I'm not going to say it was skilled. That's kind of why, and like, look, not poo-pooing on anyone who has great times, but that's personally why I don't like tracks that have airtime. For that reason. But yeah, that track is overall pretty fun, aside from the downhill, which we still did okay on. Yeah, Rock and Drift this track may be my favorite dirt track in the game. It is an early low-level mission, but this track may be my favorite dirt track, if I can remember it. Because there are no it's a very sharp track, but there are no jumps. And you go from like heavy sand to, oh, there is the jump. Never mind. This is not the track I was thinking about. This is not the track I was thinking about. That one does have a jump halfway through it. I think it's Rapid Rally. I think it is Rapid Rally. I don't know. They're all okay. The true is the Mud Bowl contest though, because it's the first track in the game, and the fact that I have tried super hard to meta build a 4-wheel drive dirt vehicle and I am still only 43rd proves that yes, this track is the true meta. This is the true meta. And as far as I can't look at first place, but as far as I can tell, nobody's like full-blown exploited the Mud Bowl contest. Maybe they have. I don't know. And by exploited, I mean like find some bug in the game to give them like a 10-second time or something. The new map with huge cliff, just aim for the next checkpoint and heat repair in the air. Yeah, if you look earlier in the stream, that's kind of what I ended up doing. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So yeah, as I was saying, like Mud Bowl contest is it's hard to say what my favorite track in the game is, but Mud Bowl contest is very well defined. I do enjoy this race. The whole reason I made one of my first meta builds was to get a good time on this race. Which was the Dirt Master Pro. You can like cut through those. It's like a narrow cut. Yeah, we're not getting PB right now. We did get our PB with this vehicle though. It would be nice to know. I mean, like I get that people want to have their own creations and stuff. Like I get that. But it would be cool to know what builds people use to get PBs on this. Between the Dirt Master Pro and this Alpha Meta flat top. Oh, I slowed down at the end. You can just blow through that right at the end. The fact that like I'm only top 50 it's crazy. Like I'm certain people have built vehicles around that track specifically. Yeah, I don't know about like there are people who are building the smallest vehicles they possibly can. I've seen like 3-speed tiny compact vehicles. That's gonna take some like serious planning and thought. But that's getting into like deep meta building. I know I've joked about the end game. Oh, we could definitely get time off on that. The end game being aircraft. But if we're being honest, the end game is meta building like the craziest, most highest performing vehicles you can possibly get. Aircraft is a part of it. Aircraft is definitely a part of it. Yeah, I remember this one. As far as I recall, there's no like crazy downhill where you're like almost guaranteed to break a wheel off. The windmills are very dangerous though. That jump right there is dangerous. And then this downhill here is dangerous. This area is a little dangerous because it's bumpy. But I think overall that's okay. Nice. Flat 9.7. Over 9 seconds off of our PB. Yeah. Top 40 with that. I think overall, like, aiming for top 40 is a main goal. You can also see, like, when you're getting times on a race, whether you're getting, like, a decent time by how close all of the times around your time are. To jump, like, what is that, 9 positions? We would only need to shave 1.2, 1.3 seconds off of our time. That's kind of how you know that you're entering into a good zone. But as far as I can tell, getting first place on a lot of these races in the career mode, they're gonna require unconventional means. We did make that quadcopter. The Mayfly quadcopter, I think, is very well refined. We did take the quadcopter on the workshop as inspiration. But quadcopters, I mean, like the Bluey helicopter and then the quadcopter, oh my, overshot it. I like this track. I do like this track. We're still green right now. I think on that bridge, those pillars are actually new. I don't know if I'm making that up, though. Oh my, and I forgot. This is the downhill here. Yeah. I remember this track. Maybe I don't actually like this track. The Secret Queen race definitely feels like one of the cleanest races in the game. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, clean may be not the best word to describe. I don't want to bump around anymore. Like, yeah. The combination of, like, bumpy dirt terrain, and having to repair the vehicle is, but yeah, the Secret Queen race is one of the cleanest races because it doesn't involve any location. There are 2 spots on the road where your car can brake if you're not careful. But there's no spot. The 888 is another one that I like. There is one turn in the 8 that is difficult, but it doesn't involve getting airborne. You have the same version of the car with solid axle setup? Yeah, so going from a solid axle setup to motorcycle suspension will drastically change the vehicle. So no, I do not. That turn right there is the hardest. That's the hardest turn in the whole thing. By far. You can't make a build like this with a solid axle setup. Now, yeah, you could strip it down to the transmission, sure. But everything else in terms of the structure would have to change if you were to change the suspension. This one is great because the whole time you're turning, either speeding up or slowing down, and that turn is crazy. But it doesn't really involve, there is that point right there. So when you come out of the turn, if you come out of the turn too fast, you become airborne. Depending on how much downforce you have on your vehicle. I don't even know where we can shave off time on this. Like, we went really crazy with our previous time. Yeah, that right there is where you're turning to the right, but your vehicle just doesn't actually turn. Yeah, as for beating that PB on 888, that's gonna be difficult. We're already top 20 on that. Yeah, that PB is actually difficult. 205 time on gravel road grind with small racing tires? Wait, why is small racing tires? It's mostly dirt, isn't it? For the Serpentin, I should put... that turn is one of the first, like, very difficult turns on that track. And if you don't brake enough, you, again, become airborne. And although you're turning to the left, you cease to be turning to the left. I don't know, like, do I need more downforce on the front of this thing? Like, it feels like I have a good amount of downforce. It feels like most of the situations at low speed were simply lifting off of the ground because we, like, bounce. Which now I'm leaning into has to do with potentially the motorcycle suspension bouncing us into the air, which then further leads me to suspect that maybe we would be better off using something like the suspension dirt small. $17 centimeters. These are this curve is basically the same though. That's what's so weird to me about the suspension in the game is like there are many attributes that are tied to the suspension you use, many of which you just do not they are not displayed at all, right? So as far as like being given the information to make decisions, based on that information, that graph, the 6 kilograms, that would just have me believe that the suspension motorcycle and the suspension dirt small are identical, which obviously they're not. Right? So that's one thing that I have an issue with in this game is like, in terms of testing stuff, you gotta just test it. Like, there's no way to like look at metrics of like turn radius or so it's called dampening, right? So in suspension, you have in real life, you have something called suspension dampening, which stops your vehicle. So if you've ever seen like a rally car or any kind of vehicle that does like off-road bumpy tracks, what it does is it stops the vehicle from bouncing back. It dampens that bounce back response. As far as the dampening on the suspension motorcycle goes, it feels like, yeah, every time I hit a bump, I'm bouncing and then losing traction, and then I can't turn. Because if your wheels aren't touching the ground, you can't turn, right? I mean, that's obviously like, anyone can understand that. What I'm getting at is I'm slowly but surely coming to believe more and more that the motorcycle suspension is not it's not the meta. Like I hate to just completely that's a part of testing. Like we're learning for sure. We're definitely learning. When it comes to like any type of bump or any type of like that right there, the left side of the vehicle lifted up, I don't think that's because I don't have enough downforce. I think it's because the motorcycle suspension severely lacks any type of dampening. I think we just bounced there. Now, the turn radius is good. Definitely good turn radius, even at lower speeds. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm onto something with that. As far as meta building goes, I don't know if the 4-wheel motorcycle suspension meta is going to be it. Trekovic, welcome. What's your time on the oval race? Oh, in the... Yeah, we got like top 20 first try. I need to go free drive, supersonic, career. Here. Top 30. Yeah, the oval race is it's pretty straightforward. And ideally you would change your... So yeah, oval cars are very interesting. You even have, like, there are asymmetrical oval cars that have their downforce set to one side even. It gets kind of crazy, actually. Because, as you can imagine, it's an oval. You're turning in one direction. So you're either going clockwise or you're going counterclockwise. You're either turning to the left or to the right. And you're not turning the other way ever because it's an oval. Yes, there are a couple oval type tracks that have flat areas where you turn back and then left and then right. But like oval style racing is primarily you're turning in one direction. So technically there is an ideal build type that involves building a vehicle with downforce set in such a way that optimizes your turn radius and speed going around the oval without needing to worry about turning much at all. But yes, that is our time just trying out the oval race. I don't know how we got top 30 first try, but we did. And we have 51st place on wild curves. What's confusing to me is why we have such a high top score on the oval race, because it doesn't feel like I did anything special. It's very interesting to me. But yes, I am going to leave the stream here. We did do some interesting and fun stuff. I'm glad we got to check out the trailer vehicle. And Neri, thank you for showing us the Purpler 4.0. Unfortunately, we were unable to get that other dump truck style vehicle to work. I don't know if anyone's gotten that to work. I assume people have. It may just be on my end, but yes, that's all for now. If you've been enjoying my live streams, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will be on in the future. Thank you.